Political philosophy of Lao Tzu. Upholding the Tao. In Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching, it is stated, "The Tao is the origin of the universe, the principle of transformation in the universe. Dealing with people and governing the state should be based on this principle. Naturally, politics should adhere to it as the supreme guiding rule. Therefore," Lao Tzu says, "the Tao always does nothing, but there is nothing it does not do. If rulers and nobles can hold on to the Tao, all things will transform themselves. When transformation takes place, desire arises. Let it be restrained by the simplicity of the nameless. Simplicity without desire brings tranquility. The world will settle of its own accord without any law." In Chapter 32 of the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu also states, "The Tao is always nameless, simple, though small, the world cannot subordinate it. Kings and lords can only follow it with humility, and all things will submit." This means that the Tao is the ultimate and eternal reality, nameless, and simple. Although it is small and elusive, rulers who align with the Tao become its embodiment, earning respect from the people. The Tao possesses a natural attraction to all beings. When rulers align with the Tao, they absorb its essence, and the people willingly submit to them. Non-assertion and self-cultivation. Non-assertion is not about doing nothing but acting in harmony with nature. Non-assertion is a strategy, self-cultivation is the goal. In Chapter 57 of the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu says, "I do nothing, and people transform themselves. I prefer quiet and let people govern themselves. I do not interfere and let people prosper. I do not desire and let people return to the simplicity." Lao Tzu advocates non-assertion, tranquility, non-interference, and desirelessness as the optimal path for rulers to conquer the people, ensuring their well-being without resorting to complicated policies. Lao Tzu states in Chapter 29 of the Tao Te Ching, "Desire to govern the world, and the world will submit. Hesitate to grasp it, and the world will be yours." The world is mysterious because it comprises various people, old and young, men and women, strong and weak, educated and common, cooperative and stubborn. Therefore, rulers who want to govern must practice non-assertion, as trying to dominate or control will lead to the loss of the world. Understanding this, rulers view governing a large country like frying small fish. If rulers burden the people with heavy taxes, the country will face ruin. Lao Tzu criticizes extravagant rulers who live in luxury at the expense of the people, leaving them impoverished and the land barren. Compassion and forgiveness. Compassion involves loving everyone regardless of whether they are good or evil, forgiving generously. In Chapter 49 of the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu says, "For those who are virtuous, I am virtuous to them. For those who are not virtuous, I am still virtuous." Thus, virtue is attained. Rulers need to be extremely tolerant and generous, recognizing no distinction between good and bad. When rulers embody virtue, they become models for the people. Rulers who possess compassion exhibit courage, as virtue leads to courage. Embracing humility, enduring insults, and forgiving are courageous acts. Compassion gives rulers the spiritual strength to restrain negative qualities and willingly engage in benevolent deeds without harming others. Furthermore, the spiritual strength of compassion prompts rulers to sacrifice and care for the people. Frugality. Frugality involves being economical in spending, limiting luxuries, avoiding wastefulness of national resources, and not squandering the health of the people. Lao Tzu often advises rulers to discard excess, eliminate extravagance, and avoid excessiveness. Frugal rulers prioritize the well-being of the nation over personal indulgences, enabling them to address the country's challenges and serve the people more effectively. Lao Tzu emphasizes that rulers should avoid wasting time, energy, and resources on unnecessary pursuits. Living frugally helps rulers lead a modest and simple life, in harmony with nature, free from the shackles of desire, and unencumbered by external influences. If rulers fail to live frugally, they risk harming the country by imposing heavy taxes on the people. Lao Tzu highlights the negative consequences of rulers who prioritize their own desires over the welfare of the people, leading to social unrest and economic decline. Not daring to stand before the world. Not daring to stand before the world is living with humility, forgetting oneself, abandoning the desire for victory, and avoiding arrogance. In Chapter 66 of the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu states, "Rivers and seas can become kings of 100 valleys because of their lowliness. Therefore, they can reign over 100 valleys. Thus, the sage desires to be above the people and must speak like they are beneath the people. Desires to be in front of the people and must put himself behind the people." Lao Tzu uses the analogy of rivers and seas to illustrate the concept of humility for rulers. To govern the people effectively, rulers must position themselves below the people, speaking humbly, and standing behind the people. Rulers who practice humility, patience, and selflessness create an environment where the people naturally rise, maintaining their enthusiasm without growing tired. Such rulers are never boring, and the people wish for their well-being, acknowledging the ruler's strength. Therefore, Lao Tzu concludes, because they do not contend, the world cannot contend with them. When rulers govern in accordance with the Tao, avoiding arrogance, the world remains peaceful, and the people enjoy lasting happiness.